In my case, I'm waiting to be murdered because I ain't killed no one.
Quite a number of the men sitting on San Quentin's death row claim that they are innocent. Behind the 22-foot-high walls, hundreds of the state's worst convicted offenders are sitting on death row, and the Department of Corrections is running out of room to house these inmates. KRON 4's Alicia Reed looks at the future of the prison and what's being done to keep criminals behind bars. Alicia.
Well, Pam, San Quentin is home to the largest death row population in the country. There hasn't been an execution since 2006. So right now, there are hundreds of inmates that will likely spend the rest of their lives awaiting execution. Now the prison is trying to figure out where to put them all.
We'll still be accommodating every newly arriving condemned inmate here at San Quentin.
Doing time isn't easy. Some inmates in their 80s have been on death row for decades. For those in their 20s, their prison bid is just starting. Most inmates spend an average of 15 years on this notorious cell block.
It is hard, I'm gonna tell you, no?
It's sometimes freezing cold in this building.
Some of the condemned are holding out hope a retrial or appeal will set them free. One inmate waiting for a new lawyer is Michael Santos Walters.
I don't even have an attorney yet. It takes like 5 or 6 years to get an attorney.
He was serving life for murder.
A gang member that was raping my niece.
Now he's condemned to death for brutally killing his cellmate.
While incarcerated in Corcoran, I killed my cellie that was a pedophile.
Walters is just one of hundreds of condemned inmates living in cramped conditions.
What people need to understand is that the conditions in here are horrible.
Death Row's East Block is nearly at capacity. The prison is running out of room. There's some relief in the psych ward.
Long-term inpatient psychiatric program for death row condemned inmates.
There are 40 beds for mentally ill condemned inmates, but still, it's not enough. The state is providing some aid. $3.2 million of taxpayer funds to make room for 97 beds in the Donner Building, which currently needs to be retrofitted in order to house some of the overflow. A small dent in an overcrowding problem that appears to be getting worse.
Of course, with that conversion, more staff will need to be hired and trained. Construction is expected to be completed sometime this month.
So what is the cost to taxpayers for keeping someone on death row?
Well, for the average inmate in San Quentin, it's about $60,000 a year. So if we tabulate that for a death row, it's about $45 million for the year. But I spoke with the public information officer, and he told me they haven't tabulated death row inmates, so it might actually be more
than
$45 million. Yeah.
Okay, so now, was it difficult talking to people who you knew were convicted of these heinous crimes and still being able to see them as human beings who are trying to live out their life behind bars?
It was only because, for example, this one guy talked about his kids. He has like 6 or 7 children outside, and one of his daughters is a lawyer. He was so proud. So I saw past everything else, and it was easy to connect. You know.
Did they talk to you about their victims at all?
One guy that killed 2 pedophiles, and from talking to him, he felt it was justifiable, what he did.
An interesting series. It continues tomorrow. Thank you so much, Alicia, for your work. And we can also find all of the installments on KRON4.com.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Other news now.